The 2023 NHL season officially in the books. Here on Keeping Score, we break down the action. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our last edition of Keeping Score. I'm T-Money, Theodore Fernandez joining you again, and I got my cast with me as always. Starting on my right, Caden, K-Man, how we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, maybe it wasn't as close in the last two rounds as some of the earlier rounds, but I think it was an all right Stanley Cup.
Yeah, look, we saw the action that happened. Knights taking it in 5. Drew, what was your thoughts on that last series you saw?
It was definitely not what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be much closer. I thought it was going to go to probably 6 or 7 games. I didn't think it was going to be a 5-game series just because the way Florida was playing in the last couple of rounds, just, battling really good, and, just the injuries kind of hurt them in the Stanley Cup final there. But, it was a good series. Vegas, I think this was their 6th season and they won a cup, and I remember their owner saw it on Instagram a tweet that the owner said playoffs in 3 and then Stanley Cup in I think 5 or 6. So what he said was right, so that was cool to see. But congrats to Vegas. They played a great series.
Yeah, and we'll give you a more in-depth breakdown on that series in just a minute. Before we get into that, Rowan, you look a little uncomfortable where you're sitting. What's going on there?
Yeah, there's a very bad smell coming from this direction, but we're not going to talk about that. But this series, really interesting. I thought it was going to be a little closer, but overall, I knew Vegas was going to win. It's just a team that, I don't know, in my opinion, they're just better. And, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, look, JP is taking a vow of silence for today's show. He will not be saying anything, but we're glad to have him on set with us. And with that being said, let's take a look at those picks that we made in this last show that we recorded a couple weeks back. So, first of all, we already said it. Cup winner was Vegas in 5 games. As you see here, I absolutely nailed that. They won it. I got the full 2 points for that. I was trying to catch Caden for the win, and we're going to announce our champion in just a minute. But congrats to the Knights. Rowan was the only other person who nailed that.
A Cinderella story defeated by Sin City, right? As I said, I knew Vegas was going to win. I just didn't think they would win that bad, like that. I don't want to say easily, but they seemed like they were running away with it pretty much the whole time. Chuck being injured the last game, I think that definitely had a huge toll on the Panthers team, both sides, offense and defense. They were really running away with it that last game.
To say the highest scoring game in NHL Cup clinching history. And also we saw the second hat trick in Cup clinching history from Mark Stone. Yeah. He's the first to do it in over 100 years and the second player to do it overall, which is just absolutely insane. Yeah,
absolutely incredible to have that come from your captain. You two hadn't picked the Panthers all show. Every single round had picked against them. Finally decided to hop over to that side and then get burned. Drew, what happened there?
I just, I didn't pick them at all, and I thought, Stanley Cup final, they've kind of, put a burden on me in this show, and I thought, I'm not going to doubt them this round. And I honestly thought that they were going to come away with it just the way they were playing. The goaltending, Tkachuk was on fire, and just overall great team play by Florida, but didn't work out. And like I said before, the injuries, it came out later, I think right after the game, what each player had. Tkachuk had a broken sternum, and he hurt his ankle too. I think it was Ekblad was playing with a broken foot. So they were just a mess with all that stuff. But they actually have the most cap at any team in the league into this offseason, in the whole league. They have the most cap, and they have a lot of guys to re-sign and stuff. But they'll be right back in it next year. So.
Yeah, look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. They call me T-Money for a reason. My picks are straight cash. I looked at Florida. I looked at them as a team that was running out of momentum. I looked at Vegas as a team that was just unstoppable. And Vegas in 5 panned out perfectly. But I still needed some more to happen if I was going to catch Caden for this title win. And the next thing we picked was goals, total goals scored in the series. So this was Price is Right rules. So closest without going over. You saw the picks there up for a second. But Rowan got it with 32 goals scored as his pick. 38 were scored, so you got the point there.
I just really had to think about it, and I was really thinking, this was my whole strategy. There was maybe, I would say, an average of 5 goals, 7 games. That's 35. Maybe there'd be a little less games or a little less points, so I said 32. And there was some games where there was a lot scored, like in the last game, 9-3. There was a 7-2. And, I'm glad I got it. I needed this point.
You definitely did need the point. I mean, I'm watching Game 5, right? Second period, it's 3-2 Knights. I'm thinking, okay, all that needs to happen is this result holds. No one scores. And then, the Knights proceed to score another 6 goals, which was just, what's going on there? So that last game kind of threw a wrench into my plans there. But there were a couple other things we picked. And the next was Conn Smythe winner, Stanley Cup Playoffs MVP. And let's take a look at our selections. None of us got it right. And Drew, Joe, and Caden, for obvious reasons, did not have anything there. But Rowan, you had the Knights winning, and you didn't even pick a Knights player.
Yeah, I'm regretting it. I think I did say in the last show that if it would be a Knight, then it would be Moshasol. He's just been a really good player. I was kind of really unsure about this, but I really regret picking Dovosky. It was kind of a bad pick.
I know that Marchessault had the most goals, but it felt like a robbery from Eichel, obviously. He had like 26 points in the 22 games that they played. Just an insane performance in his first cup run, too. Mm-hmm. Like, to win the cup and perform like that is just obviously crazy. So me and Theo were talking about this earlier. It just feels like a robbery.
I think they honestly gave it to him just because he's one of the original 6 guys that was part of Vegas. I think I think that was honestly probably the reason. Yeah. But I mean, Eichel, like what Caden just said, I think Eichel got robbed too. But
well,
I think it was just the bias, kind of like, oh, you're an original 6 member. And yes, he had a great playoffs. Mm-hmm. Definitely, he was probably number 2 or top 3. But I think he did get robbed.
Yeah, this is one pick that I have an absolute problem with because straight up robbery. There is no other way to put it. You take Jack Eichel off of this Knights team, I don't even think they get past Edmonton in that second round. I mean,
good point.
The assists, the playmaking, he scored a bunch of goals of his own too, and the defense was elite. Like, Jack Eichel just had one of the greatest individual playoff runs for someone in his position where so many people doubted him, so many people had stuff against him. He proved all of them wrong, and to not be rewarded with the trophy is a little absurd in my eyes, but look, shout out Marchessault. I mean, Caden told me this earlier, second player to ever win Conn Smythe without being drafted, right?
Oh, no, he's the last person to win it was the Great 99, was Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure how many have won it, but I know that the last one was Gretzky.
Still, I mean, that's a long run of just impressive, and to be an original 6 player and win it was big. We saw the original, what's the nickname for that group?
Golden Misfits.
Golden Misfits, yeah, original 6. I'm just mixing up all the hockey terms here. But look, the Golden Misfits had a couple players on this team, and this came into play when we're talking about who's going to be the first to lift the cup. So let's take a look at who we said would be the first to lift the cup. Obviously, again, 3 of the picks are out the window. I had Eichel, and you had Marchessault.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of mad about this. Viley Smith, he is one of the original Golden Misfits. But, you check out his stats, you check out how he's been playing. And, he has been helping. He has had 10 assists and 4 goals this entire playoffs. And that's not nothing, but when you compare it to someone like Jack Eichel or Marchessault, you don't really think that, like, maybe it would be more. He didn't impact as much as Jack Eichel and John Marchessault did, so I'm just mad about it.
Now, look, this is one that I don't have a problem with, just because we don't know what's going on in that locker room.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we don't know what role Riley Smith has. He's obviously a guy that the teammates like and someone that they wanted to honor. So I have no problem with this.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool to see people get recognized, right, Drew? I mean, you've been a part of many teams.
Yeah, I mean, you always have the one player where you definitely want to, not really high school, but once you get to like college and stuff, but in high school you have that one player that you almost like play for and that you want to see them win. And what you said before, you don't know what happens in the locker room. You don't know really who that true leader is. Mark Stone could just be, he could be their captain, but Riley Smith really could be that leader in the locker room who leads them together. But yeah, Mark Stone has the C, but Riley Smith, I think he's an alternate.
Yeah,
but
he is.
That could honestly, he could be your captain, but just another one of those things that you kind of play for a couple of those guys. Mark Stone, kind of veteran, Riley Smith, veteran. You want to play for the misfits, you could say, just so they can win a cup, be a part of that kind of team. And it was interesting to see. I picked Saul on the Panthers to win it just because how big of a veteran he was and how he's a borderline Hall of Famer. So that's another pick that I made, but I don't think any of us really thought Riley Smith would beat it. I thought it was going to be either Marshall Saul or one of the misfits to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that one was kind of just a shot in the dark, a little fun thing we threw in there. This next one that we picked, and this was the last pick we have before we crown our champion, this was kind of based in what we thought was logic, and this was penalty minutes. So we decided that as a group, Radko Gudas would be the one who had the most penalty minutes. Caden, tell us about Gudas real quick.
Oh, yeah, man, the beard alone is just so intimidating. He did not obviously play as dirty as we were expecting. And Tkachuk, I don't know, Tkachuk is a force to be messed with, but I thought Tkachuk is more of like a mental menace than like Gudas is more physical. But yeah, obviously he got kicked out of one of the games and stuff, so he did end up having the most minutes.
Yeah, I was actually shocked to know I didn't know it was Tkachuk until we said it in our text stream, but I was shocked to see that it was him just because I didn't really think I know he had the 10-minute misconduct, but when you talk about penalty minutes, that 10-minute probably put him right on top of everyone else, and just like that. And then he got the 10 and then a 5, and I think he got another like a double minor or something like that for drawing blood, I think it was, but kind of one of those players that kind of goes under the radar, kind of being that, not like dirty player, but is like that enforcer. And what Caden just said, he's more of that, I would say, mental enforcer, not really an enforcer to be kind of reckoned with. But it was cool to see that, we were kind of shocked that we thought it was all going to be Gudas, but it wasn't. But.
Yeah, with Tkachuk, he actually has had the second most penalty minutes in all of NHL history in the finals in that series with 50 minutes.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was, the first guy was some guy on the Flyers, I can't remember his name, Mel something, I think. Anyways, but yeah, he really surprised us, even with not playing the last game. Still a clear winner in that category. I mean, but if you can't really call him a winner for.
Yeah, exactly.
he's the loser.
Yeah,
Really.
and look, I have a problem with this in the sense that I love enforcers. I love the idea of someone going out and like, okay, my job is to hurt people and attack people and agitate people. But if you're the star player of the team, if you're the guy who's carried your team on this run, and if you're the guy who your team's relying on, you can't spend all that time in the box. So
you can't be taking those penalties.
It just got excessive at a point, and who knows how some of those games turn out if maybe this guy was available for an extra 50 minutes.
I think that's probably the reason why I think he got hurt. Like he broke his sternum, whatever. I think it was because he laid that big hit on Eichel, and I think he got hit either that game or the next game, which like you could see towards the end. I don't know I think he got hit in the series before, which caused the broken sternum, but then he got hit again, and you could see it wasn't the same Tkachuk that was in the past like couple of series.
Yeah.
So that might have had an influence on it. Just all those penalty minutes that taking him off the ice, it could have affected the series in a different way. But now we'll never know. But
I could see where it's coming from, where you get this frustratingly close, you're on this crazy run, and then things just aren't happening for you, and so you start, playing a little dirtier, a little faster to try and get something going, but it just did not work out for him.
Yeah. When I, of all people, am calling for less violence and less dirty hits, it's excessive. So, I mean, come on, Tkachuk. You got to chill a little bit going forward. All right. Look, we've been teasing it all show, but we do have a champion to crown today. And I'm not even going to say anything. Let's just pull up our final standings and see where we all fell. First of all, JP, 8 points, absolutely disgraceful. That's just, come on, 8 points. You got to do better than that. Drew, you and Rowan tied for third with 10. I had 11, and man, this hurts. Caden, the K-Man, runs away with the championship.
Thank you.
13
Thank you.
points.
Soft
This right
clap.
here.
Soft clap.
I've won many times over the past 2 years. I've loved having this crown in my possession, but
It's a replica.
can
Thank you.
throw
Thank
that
you. Thank you.
on your head.
Feels great. Feels great.
We should have got one of those like fake Stanley
this-
cups. The
It's
little
like an inflatable.
the inflatable. There's like a popcorn maker. Yeah, I got that.
I was in first every single round. I would like to say that, even though most of my big points I racked in the first round, didn't have any points in the last round. It's been a ton of fun. It's been a ton of fun playing, and obviously, this has just grown my love for the sport of hockey. Having to because I've been reading all these articles that I never would read before, actually looking at the stats, and it's been a great time. Obviously, I love playing.
I remember you saying last show all your picks came from your
Yeah,
dad.
I think we can all
I,
agree on
I,
this battle.
I said that I talked
I
them
think this should go to
over.
his dad.
I said
Yeah.
I talked
This
them
should
over.
go to Mr. Nagel.
Okay.
Look, it's been so much fun. And before we actually wrap the show, I just got to give a shout out, JP, for managed. Caden scored 8 points round 1, and JP managed to score 8 points the whole show. So that's just
Oh my God.
valiant effort right there by Joe. But look, it's been so much fun talking hockey with the 5 of you here alongside me the past couple weeks.
I think we can all say, as I say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Let's do that hockey.
I
yeah.
think we all have to say it, closing out the show.
That's the perfect way to close it. And look, it wouldn't be a hockey show if I didn't say this, but Jack Hughes is still overrated.
Oh, he's got that tooth back,
it
though.
was
He has
coming.
that tooth
He
does
did
have
get the tooth
He
back.
did get the tooth
That's-
back, yeah. Okay, congrats on him for that. But
No more Jack
besides that,
Lynch.
well overrated. Look, I've had so much fun talking hockey with everyone here, and I've had so much fun bringing you coverage of sports here at the high school the past 2 years. Been an absolute pleasure, and I will be checking in on you all going forward. But for now, for Work Valley Television, for the last time, I'm Theodore Fernandez.